Welcome to Talking Heads on USA Global TV, starring the one and only wonderful Dr. Jacalyn. It's a prestigious place where world-class influencers and experts meet, and where you'll find the most trusted advisors and coaches for all things in life and business. Visit usaglobaltv.com to sign up for our newsletter, get the value you need, and be first in line to learn about events and giveaways and other valuable content. Connect with us. Email Dr. Jacalyn at usaglobaltv.com to talk about how you can become part of USA Global TV. That's USA Global TV, where the doctor is always in.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to USA Global TV, and hello to our friends listening on Business Talk Radio. I am Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck, and our show today is the United Kingdom news and culture. I just love this program because I love our friends over in the UK. We have a loyal following there, and a lot of that is due to our special correspondents who will be joining us in just a few minutes. But before that, let's welcome my friend and co-host of the show. Her name is Diann Floyd Boehm. She is the networking queen. She knows people all over the world. She's traveled all over the world. She loves the UK. She is an award-winning international author of children's books and also young adults. She is a teacher and she has a heart of gold. Let's bring her onto the program. Hello, Diann.
I'm going to start looking around to see who you're talking about. You're always so generous. I'm like, what? I wish my mama could hear this.
She's hearing it, and it's definitely true. So I'm really thrilled to have you here with me on this program. And I know that you have your own personal ties to the UK. But before we get into that and bring our special correspondents, our team members who are waiting backstage, I'm going to spotlight you, and I want you just to share a little bit of your background and also what is your connection to the UK?
Sure, I'll be happy to. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the show, whether you're watching or listening out there. We are so happy to have you. This show is awesome to me because the UK holds a special place in my heart. I wish I could go there all the time and just keep learning. But we've made a point for our children who are now young adults to visit the UK and see where their mother country, even though everyone's born in the United States, still our roots go to the UK, and we're extremely proud of it. Yes, I do write children's books, and I moved also into the young adult historical fiction books because I wanted to inspire young kids to become the person that they're meant to be and to believe in themselves. And my books generally are about loving one another, to be kind to one another, to believe in hope and faith and love. Thank you, Dr. Jacalyn.
Diann, thank you so much. While you're there, just can you share with our audience some of your recent successes?
Sure. So I'm very proud. My book, Rise, A Girl's Struggle for More. I'm very proud of it. This is my grandmother right here. And she's actually from the Terrell family that goes all the way back into the United Kingdom. And so there we go. There's my special tie, the Terrell family. And there's actually some old castles that family came from. But anyway, this book made Amazon's hot list in October. I'm very proud of it. It's still doing quite well. And I'm working on the sequel to it now. So I'm very proud of that. And I have a book called A Song of Peace, a children's book. And it's all about a young boy who wishes for peace on earth. And I'm actually working on starting a movement for people to record 50 seconds of the word peace, or maybe they could sing it, peace, peace, peace. However they want to say peace, say it as a prayer. But if you go to my website, you can learn all about it, because we need to get that message out there that people around the world just really want to put food in their family's tummy, and they just want a moment of quiet and calmness. Thanks, Dr. Jacalyn.
Thanks, Diann. That was beautiful, especially your lovely voice, the voice of an angel.
Thank you.
So So, Diann, our special correspondents for USA Global TV are backstage. We're going to bring them out. Helena Chard and Pelham Turner. I have a special place in my heart for both of them because they've reached out to me, saw something in me, and really helped us take this platform to the next level. And many of our co-hosts and guests are friends of theirs. They both are extremely successful and renowned across the world for their broadcasting. And I think they've done over 3,000 shows together. And Helena also has extensive experience in casting and events. And they both really care about giving the person next door, the person on the street, the person walking next to you or riding the bus, giving them an opportunity to share their story. They're focused on mental health awareness and giving everybody the opportunity to come forward and be heard. Let's welcome them without further delay, Helena Chard and Pelham Turner.
Yay! Welcome, guys.
Thank you so much. Lovely to see you both. What an introduction.
I know. She's glorious.
As you can see, we're in the White House again, our version of the White House.
It's gorgeous.
It's beautiful. And it's actually warm there today, isn't it?
Is it?
I think it's 57 degrees Fahrenheit.
Wow.
Okay. No, it is warmer. It is. It is.
Wow. And we're about to have an ice storm here in Texas, in Austin.
Wow.
And you've got problems in Florida as well, haven't you? Is it floods or pestilence or plague? It sounds biblical.
One thing that we definitely have down here are very large iguanas. And I read an article the other day that they are literally, because there's frost in the morning, they fall out of the trees. And they're like in a hibernation state, but they're still alive.
Oh my gosh.
They look like dinosaurs. It's kind of cool, actually.
So, and apparently that some of your counties are putting out warnings, for falling iguanas.
Oh my goodness.
Exactly. It's true.
That's amazing. But also, if you come to Florida and visit Florida, you'll have to see the Everglades because the size of the alligators. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. I haven't done that in a long time. And I said to myself, I don't think I'll be going back. Plus, they have the giant snakes.
Yes.
So.
Wow.
But anyway.
I know Simon's coming on shortly, and the weather in Scotland, whoa, it's been something else. Roofs flying off houses.
Oh my gosh. Wow. He is joining us. He's got a special phone call that he's on. He's going to provide us with updates. But Helena and Ian, tell us some of the news and happenings over there.
Yes, please.
Well, we have a variety of things. I mean, it's a very big political storm over here, but I'm not going to enter into that. Maybe Ian would like to peruse that slightly. But we have, I just find myself gravitating to all the creative things and as I say, the jolly things, which I always manage to, I don't know, I track them, I feel. But we have some special days as well. And I think this is something actually which is interesting for you, Dr. Jacalyn, as the listening mentor also. We have tomorrow, in fact, it's called Time to Talk Day.
Wow.
And it's Great Britain's biggest mental health conversation. And it's people come together, they talk, they listen, change lives. And as Dr. Jacalyn was saying, half of every conversation actually is listening and letting someone know that they're being heard. So this is a day, it's every year, and obviously it's something that has to take place every day, really, but just marking the day with this is always really, really good. And it's two charities, Mind and Rethink Mental Illness, in association with the Co-op, which is one of our big shops over here, so that's quite unusual. So that's all exciting, and it can be something very simple, just having a simple conversation or creating some little events. So that's fun. That happens each day. And as we know, on the 6th of February, Her Majesty, our very great Queen, is going to be celebrating her 70th year on the throne. So we're all getting ready. There's celebrations happening at the moment. But the funny thing that's happened, well, I think it's funny and it's typical, really. So royal souvenirs have been made, and people are still desperately making them as well. But there's a big batch that have been misprinted. So there's over 10,000 plates and cups and beautiful things that have been, in fact, made in China and shipped over here. And it's a complete, it's a chaotic thing because they can't sell them. So now it's being sold by a special company at 90% discount. But instead of saying, you know, celebration, blah, 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 platinum jubilee, it says platinum jubbly on it.
Oh, that's so sad.
Pretty mad. And here in the UK, you know, lovely jubbly is quite a known phrase. There's a character called Del Boy. It's a really famous, goes back years. And jubblies have different connotations over here. So, yeah, it's not really a good move. But I don't know. We don't know about that. So that's a little bit of light relief. And amongst the storm, I mean, there's so many different things. One small thing which I found quite interesting, it's to do with lockdown and various things, and we're sort of teetering out, although I don't really know what's going on. But there is a gentleman called Mr. Wordle. Now, he grew up in Wales. I think he went to the University of Abergavenny, which actually, Abergavenny is where my mum was born. So I'm always interested in little stories. But during lockdown, he's now living in the States, but he has formed, it's a game or a word game called Wordle, which is clever because it's Wardle, his surname. And the New York Times has actually bought it off of him for a seven-figure sum. And it's a very simple game that they're using, but how amazing. You know how people have managed to flip themselves and do really well. But wow, and it's a simple game. It's one short game each day, and you have to form a word which is 5 letters. And it's a very clever game because if you get it right, it gives you that really feel good, you know, wow, I've done it, and it's quick. You know, once you've done it, you're off and you do it the next day. So wow, all I can say is good luck to him. He's obviously got one of those brains. So,
7 figures, you said.
7 figures, so a little game that he didn't even do any promotion or anything. He decided to keep it under wraps and not do that much. And New York Times heard about it, wanted it straight away, knew it would work for them. Something very simple. Whoa, isn't that something? Something to aspire to.
Absolutely. Congratulations. We need that contact name and number at the New York Times.
It caught on very quickly as well because every day now, millions of people across the world are competing with this, and they compete against each other on how quickly they can actually do this. And there's even competitions now where if you can do it under 30 seconds, actually guess the word. It's almost like a championship that's being held as well. So it just goes to show you how the world has changed. You know, in my day, even crosswords, you know, were really for people only in sort of certain newspapers. But now, things like this, but I think the thing it does do, it brings people together as well. And anything, as we've all talked about, anything that brings the world together has got to be good.
Amen.
Yes to that. And I think also when it comes to crosswords or games like this with words, it's really good for mental health awareness. We have to keep using our minds, right? Instead of just vegetating in front of screens. But we love people vegetating in front of screens too, don't we?
Yes.
Don't walk yourself out of a job.
Exactly.
Could you say the name of it again? Because my husband absolutely loves word games, and he plays them every morning. So I'm going to have him look for this. So
it's Wordle, so Wordle, I think, which is
Wordle. I love it.
I think it's actually a Victorian word as well.
Ah.
So that's also really interesting. So, gosh, no, I'm not going to go into the Boris scenario. I don't know if you want to, Ian.
Yeah, I was going to ask if Ian's going to address that.
I can, but it's a shenanigans.
Yeah, I was doing because I think, you know, I do a political show, 2 shows a week. So trying to really understand what's going on at the moment. has been a nightmare, and we all thought we were getting ready on our Monday show because it fell badly for us. The show goes out 12:30 midday in UK times, but it fell badly because the report, or we thought the full report, was going to come out at 3 o'clock. So we were trying to preempt what was going to be said in the House of Commons. And then it was discovered that there was only going to be a short version because the Metropolitan Police are now looking at whether they should start fining members of Downing Street for having really gone against all the rules in during lockdown, with the COVID crisis. And they were, they were having parties and all sorts of things. Allegedly, and I always have to say allegedly. I think it's a word that's really sort of ingrained in me at the moment, because the one thing we have to be careful of now is anything that we say on that, we can't prejudice any potential court case at the same time. But there's one historic fact that we're all interested in, is that if the Prime Minister is actually interviewed under what they call caution, this is the first Prime Minister that might have been investigated under caution by the Metropolitan Police ever. It's never, ever, ever happened before. And so this Prime Minister of ours at the moment, I don't know what he's thought of in America, but I don't think he's doing us, much of a favour anywhere in the world at the moment.
I think I read allegedly that there were 26 parties.
Yeah, I mean, you see that they've been doing all sorts of things, and I think, for me, probably the worst one was April last year, where apparently they were having a party on the eve of the Prince Philip's funeral. And in reality, it obviously went on to the actual day itself. It didn't finish, to early hours of the morning. And so, what a disgrace.
No, that's bad taste.
What a disgrace, for Britain. But I think, it's going to be interesting to see. We're all looking at, future leaders. We're looking at politically at the moment. Because all of a sudden this week, I used to sort of work behind the scenes in Downing Street at one time, and I look behind the scenes right now, and they're coming out with all these big proposals this week in the hope that they can sweep off this investigation off the news, but it's not happening.
And they're not that big, these proposals.
Yeah, I think you bring up a great point. We have the same thing here, where there's a big story, and then all of a sudden they're trying to distract us by having us go over here. But we're pretty smart, right? As individuals, we're not going to think that it all just went away. So we have a lot of, what's the word, strife, I guess, over here as well with our leadership.
But there's a lot of happiness as well, because, Helena, I'm sure we'll talk a little bit more about it in a minute, but I'm looking forward to the royal cake. But being a person of a rotund figure at the best of times, so we're all looking forward to it, because I think the competition, if I remember rightly, I think the royal cake competition, I think it starts this month.
Oh, no, it's actually started.
Has it started?
Yeah, it started. We discussed it last week.
Nobody told me.
We discussed it last week.
Big reminders.
In charge of it.
Yeah, I mean, there's lots of Johnnies. I mean, we've had. I think we move on from Boris Johnson. I think that the frustrations, I feel personally, so much time and energy and expenses invested in investigating really, basically, such poor leadership, and I think it's a waste. And I think they should just cull and move on. That's the way I feel. It's naughty.
What are some of the potential ramifications if they do have this they speak with him directly?
The ramifications are many because basically, I mean, the thing, I shouldn't laugh, but yeah, unfortunately, I'm steeped in 55 years of journalism. And so journalists love this story right now because there's nothing better than to be able to poke fun at a prime minister that's full of himself. And the reality at the moment was that we were waiting for this full report to come out on Monday, and we were all ready for it. Then we found it was only 12 pages. And then we discovered that the Metropolitan Police joined the fray because they said that Sue Gray, who is the civil servant who has actually put this whole investigation together, she has given the Metropolitan Police 500 pages of people who have actually broken, that she thinks in her estimation, lockdown with these parties. Well, not even that, there's 300 photographs as well. So everybody's now trying to clamour for these photographs because apparently they show Boris Johnson as well as some of these parties. So I think, this whole thing at the moment, from a just, this is like our Watergate. This it's Partygate, it's being called. And it's really like our Watergate, and this is drip feeding what is happening at the moment. This whole thing, and you just wonder what's going to come out next. And obviously, it's partly been orchestrated by his former advisor Dominic Cummings, who has now turned against him, it was one of those times that. For a political, journalist like myself as well, that's one of my hats. It's intriguing, and for Helena,
I've got no time for it. Really, I haven't. I just feel that he's done his bit. They wanted him there for Brexit. He's done his stuff. Let's just move on. He just needs to leave, and we need to just have someone else. And let's put our conversation. It's that kind of we have to work towards something positive, something that's going to work, not waste all this time saying did he not. Obviously they've done wrong, but now it's the government, it's just the way things are on. Anyway, enough of that. I find it too much. I think it's just really good. But there's been other really lovely things as well happening. I know actually something. The most beautiful paintings, absolutely stunning portraits. So it was Holocaust Memorial Day on the 27th, so a few days ago. And Prince Charles, lovely Prince Charles, has commissioned 7 artists to paint 7 of the UK's last remaining survivors from 1945. So these survivors relocated to Great Britain, spent their life here. And Prince Charles, he commissioned these great artists, and the portraits of these people, these 7 people, are phenomenal, absolutely amazing. I mean, it's great that they've been done because it tells a story. The interesting thing about it as well is that during the artists, along with the survivors, sorry, I don't know their names, but these 7 people, they communicated during lockdown, and the artists got a feel for these people, and it's amazing. You've got the actual sense of their characters, etc. You can see in their eyes and just the expressions. You sort of feel like you know them. I mean, gosh, these paintings are amazing. Anyway, so these are phenomenal pictures. They actually are in the Queen's Gallery as well at the moment. So I think people will be able to see them in due course. But I think it's a really good touch, and obviously, it's a memory and never to be forgotten. But these pictures, I mean, in a way, I feel sad, Dr. Jacalyn, that I couldn't have given them to you to upload because they're just amazing. But yeah, that was a positive thing. I don't know whether you saw the portraits in, but they were something.
Maybe we can see them next week.
Yeah, I'll try and get some. Yes, because it's always good to have a visual, isn't it?
Definitely. And by the way, before we continue, I just wanted to let you, Simon's backstage, so we'll bring him out. But continue. I wanted to ask you, what is the state of people's mood over there based on these different things that are going on? There's some exciting things going on, and obviously some things that are not as exciting. But are people basically chipper and in a good positive frame of mind?
Well,
we're very split. The society, I think everyone's split. You've got also, there's this like COVID overflow. I don't know, you've got people just, even parents of children. I mean, there's lots of pressures and anxiety from things like this. And I think it's just the icing on the cake, having a political scenario. People just don't want it. They want good news, or they want real news. They want honesty. And you just know that what's coming out is just, smoke and mirrors, just trying to cover people's backsides, pardon that. But, it's not real. And I think people are frustrated because everyone feels lied to, and no one wants that. People want to move on and do well, and for our country to do well, and the whole world to do well.
But I think as well, answering your question as well, Jacalyn, that there's a lot more hope, I think, this year as well. We've just started our new TV show. In fact, Helena and I will start really doing it from next week. And I think that the reality at the moment is that so many companies have come to us to see whether we can help them. And so there's a lot of people now really wanting to promote themselves again and get out of the situation that they're in. And I think that the biggest issue at the moment in Britain, especially in London, it's still fearful, in London. And so there aren't the crowds still coming into places like Oxford Street. We want the Americans back. Where's those Americans?
Yay, hip hip hooray.
Trust me, we want to come back.
For sure.
It needs you back. Because I think, where we are right now, it is a great country. You're a great country as well, and, I think I would love to see the special relationship that we had, in the past, really reinvented as well, because I think at the moment, and it goes back to politics again. I don't think your President Biden is really going to give us much of an opportunity until we sort out Northern Ireland. I don't think Boris Johnson has got a thought in his head how he's going to actually manage to do that. And it's a shame because we really value Americans coming to Britain, for tourism. I think our tourism is really looking forward to reopening again. And there's a lot of opportunities now for Brits to go back, again, once more to other countries. And we just want the world to open up again. So I think there's a lot of good, feel-good factor about, what are the values and how we can work together. And as I say, I think, with people like Helena, she's talking to companies, she's talking to people all the time who just want to get on now, move forward, and create the great Britain that we are.
Yes, it's fabulous. And the show we did right before this, we had our travel correspondent, Sandy Adams, on, and she was telling us about where you can travel and how you can travel safely. And you guys are open and we can go there. So let's make it happen. I know I'm here with the green screen, but I'm looking forward to going out on the road. And actually, I've never done that before, but filming from the street, that's something that I'm looking forward to doing. I'd love to do it over there. But I'd love to have us welcome Simon to the program. He is backstage. And Ian and Helena, I'm going to give you the honor since you actually brought him to the platform. So if you'd love to introduce Simon, that would be great.
Okay. Well, Simon Macdonald, he's the doyen, I would say, of anything to do with smoked salmon especially. And I know he has many varieties, I think, but anything you want to know about Scottish fisheries, we are now going to see the gentleman who is really has got his finger on the pulse.
He has. And also to remember, he is our special Scotland correspondent. So he knows everything that's going on in Scotland. So he's the man to talk to always.
Absolutely. And he also had he was also here on our cooking show, The United Kitchens, with Ricky McKenna. So we're excited to have him back again. Welcome to the program, Simon.
Hi,
Simon.
Lovely to see you. Yeah. Hi, Helena. I haven't seen you for a while, and Ian as well. I see you're in your country residence today.
We're in the White House, Simon. But I'm just going to ask you a question. Have you still got a roof on your house? I was just saying, have you got a roof on your house? Because we've been seeing all about these gales coming across Scotland at the moment.
It was a little bit drafty there the other week, but no, we've still got the roof there, and we've still got most of the garden, and yeah, life goes on. I was actually interested to hear you saying how I brought you to the platform. I said, yeah, I remember kicking and screaming all the way.
Well, Simon, you look very happy. You have a big smile on your face. Is that related to the phone call you just had, or unrelated?
No. Well, I mean, I'm always happy. I told you last week that you use more lines in your face and more muscles in your face frowning you do smiling. So come on, everybody, smile. But yes, I mean, last week was an absolute blast. It was lovely, lovely seeing you all again. It's just so nice to be back and all together again. And yes, I mean, last week as well, I thought we just about got you running to the travel agents to pick up your airline tickets, and we get you to Scotland, and make stars of you. We could say, look, I've got 2 tourists from America.
It's kind of interesting. I spent most of my career traveling because I sold meetings and events for, pharmaceutical companies and other major Fortune 100 companies. And I haven't traveled anywhere in over 2 years. I mean, I drove to Florida. That's not really traveling. So I am really looking forward, hopefully at the latter part of this year, to travel. And for Ian and Helena, Janetta Barry, your friend who you brought to this platform, she's looking at doing something, a big event together. So I'm not sure where it's going to be, but stay tuned for that.
Great.
Yeah, we look forward to that.
Yeah. So Simon, what's the latest? What's going on over there?
Oh, I mean, just absolute hell and high water and mayhem as usual. I mean, life goes on. Yes, we've been having slights of crisis in the Fisheries Department in the Firth of Clyde, which is on the west coast, and it's a known area where cod spawn, and so they decided to have their annual cod spawning closure for the Firth of Clyde, which has been going for about 20 years. But there's always been exemptions to allow boats to fish on grounds which are not suitable for spawning on, but are within the area, but are suitable for fishing. So this year, for some reason, government had decided that there'd be no exemptions and it would be just totally closed off. And the risk there was, a lot of fishermen would have been out of business because the closure order runs for 3 months. And so that's 3 months with the fishing fleet with no income whatsoever. It was looking quite serious. But, you know me, I can charm the birds off the tree once I start yakking away. Various meetings with the fisheries minister and the boss men in Marine Scotland, and we all got round and made sense of it. And so today, and after this call, I can now announce that the fishing is open. And the fishermen can get back to work again. So it's been burning tanker loads of midnight oil to get this through and done. But absolutely delighted now that it's business as usual for our fishermen in the Clyde, and there's about 65 boats with all their crew and their skippers and the families, the local businesses and the local communities and so on, can all heave that sigh of relief now because they're earning money again.
Praise God.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
That's great news.
So there we are. So, every downside has an upside, and today's been the upside for the fishing industry. Last week was the backside. So
That's huge.
I'm going to ask a question on it, Simon, because I've noticed that my smoked salmon has gone up in price. Are you seeing price rises? Is that due to obviously things like we just discussed, and is it to try and sort of weather the storm financially for a lot of these boats, or are there other issues that really the price of fish seems to be going up at the moment?
Well, on the smoked salmon side, I mean, it's a well-known fact that smoked salmon is your very favorite food. So, the industry, some leaders from the industry were tuning into one of the shows, and they saw this man sitting there looking extremely wealthily dressed, and said, if he's living off smoked salmon, we're obviously not charging enough. We can afford to go out and buy suits like that. No. We're going to have a slice of that. They put prices up just for you.
Ian, how do you like your smoked salmon? Do you have it on, I don't know if you have bagels there. Do they have bagels in the UK?
No, I have it. But basically, I eat very healthily. And now because of the rise in price of smoked salmon, and because I've got Scottish heritage too, I cut my smoked salmon in two and I make it last 2 nights.
Wow.
Oh, that's amazing.
Wait, so I just want to clarify. You don't have any more picnics. That's over.
There is picnics here, let me tell you. Pringles and you name it.
I mean, we joke. As soon as we finish here, I will tell you a little secret. Helen and I have sandwiches afterwards. It's almost like we have our own little tea party. Each week we have smoked salmon sandwiches.
Oh, nice.
Oh, that sounds wonderful.
Young Simon, to keep the Scottish fishing industry going.
Well, with the salmon now, of course, it's all made using farmed salmon, but the fresh salmon or farmed salmon is the biggest food export we've got coming out of the UK, and it's only just short of the figures that whiskey is producing on exports as well. So it's a major commodity.
And Simon, I know you shared this before, but for people who haven't heard it, what is the difference in health benefits from eating wild salmon or eating the farm-raised salmon? Are there any?
They're much in the same, but it depends. In the wild salmon, it depends when you're eating it. If it's the fresh run fish in the spring, their fat content is high, and so the omega-3 oils and these good fatty acids are high. But as the season goes on, these drop off, and the condition of the fish drops off. But with the farmed salmon now, they can stabilize that on the farmed fish, and the condition is there all the year round. So they're just absolutely brimful with all these good oils and so on. So farmed salmon is it's come on, and there's actually, I was reading a paper just recently. Yes, I can read joined up writing as well. We don't all wear woad when you go north of Hadrian's Wall. We're quite a civilized race here, well, most of the time. But with they've now discovered there's actually more health benefits in farmed salmon than they first realized. But it's like everything, you get good farms, you get bad farms. So that's it. But the standard of aquaculture in Scotland, be it salmon or trout or the shellfish as well that we're growing, and seaweed farming is becoming the big thing now. This is the new flavor here, and the standard of fish husbandry here is very, very high, and our market demands it's got to be high.
And when we saw you last, I had asked you if you, and I'd love to hear from Helena and Ian as well, and Diann, I had asked, have you seen any tanks that have this shellfish that's fresh, where you can actually pick it out? Because it used to be every place you would go, a grocery store or fishery, you could pick out your own, but I don't see that much anymore. So you were going to check it out there and get a report back.
Yeah, I haven't found any yet. I know, well, actually, I can tell you about 3 or 4 that I know in South Africa, in one town alone. But and there's one in particular, a restaurant in Knysna called Freshline Fisheries, and to my mind, it's actually got to be one of the best seafood restaurants in the world. It's just an amazing place. You go in; it's actually tucked in behind an old railway yard. But it's like going into an oasis. You know, you're under this Bedouin tent. It's all outdoors. The weather's good in South Africa, and it's all outdoors under this Bedouin tent with this beautiful sandy floor. It's absolutely amazing place, and it's run by a very good friend of mine called Ron. And Ron, I refer to him as the old grunter, and a grunter is a type of fish in South Africa. So we tease each other silly about that. Of course, he calls Simon, who's salmon, salmon, and we have a lot of fun. But he's a very smart cookie when it comes to business, and he's passionate about it. He's absolutely passionate about fish. So he's running a fabulous show there, and he has tanks again with lobsters, with crab and oysters and clams and so on as well. It's lovely to see.
Thank you. Yeah, that would be lovely to see. How about there in where you guys are? Do you ever you go into a place and you can pick out your own shellfish, your own fish?
Not that I've seen.
I'm just trying to think. I don't think it would be allowed. I could be totally wrong, but I don't think it would be allowed.
Are you talking about when you see like a live lobster in something?
And
you can say, I want this one. I don't think you can do that now.
I don't think you can, because we've got very strict animal protection laws in Britain now. And I don't think it would be allowed anymore. I've never thought, you see it in the movies, I get that. I don't think, I don't ever think I've actually ever seen that. I've seen it abroad, as Simon was saying, but I don't think I've seen it in Britain at all. But
yeah,
it's something, that they would have the animal rights campaign up in arms. I think we did, but I said it is what it is, isn't it? I think with these things, and it's interesting to see, how even tastes have changed as well, and I don't know what other people feel, here, but a lot more veganism is still happening in Britain. In fact, we had, is it Veterinary February or something we had recently?
Yeah, I've seen quite a few of these tanks in Portugal and also in France. In the south of France, a lot of the restaurants have them. There we are. I'm doing my travel log now. I'm supposed to be talking about Scotland. They're off the track.
Well, in the state of Maine, though, with COVID and everything, I'm not getting on airplanes really that much. But unless they've changed it after with COVID going on. But when I was there last, in the Kennebunk area, there's fishing is huge, industry is huge in Maine, and you would have those tanks, your fresh lobsters and so forth, and pick them. I just cringe every time, but my friends who love to cook lobster, I have to go in the other room. I can't stand watching them boil, Simon.
It's horrible. I don't think it's but I mean, for me, one of the biggest joys, I think I've said to you before, although I dress like this, at heart I'm a hippie, and I go back to the 1960s of hippie world, and the first opportunity I ever went to, I went to San Francisco, and there's a very famous pier in San Francisco called Pier 39, where clam chowder was actually first produce, and you have it. Well, I'm telling the Americans, because you know what it is, but it's in a sourdough loaf.
Loaf, round sourdough loaf. Yeah. Mm.
That's the most delicious thing. But I think. Do you not think everyone that tastes have changed? I get a feeling that tastes are really changing now. I think we're going much more towards, obviously salmon is very healthy.
I think I can see what you're saying, but I think fish is always pescatarians. That's the word, isn't it? We'll just have fish. And I think yes, veganism is obviously on the rise, and not to eat too much meat or anything, but I don't know. I love fish. I mean, last night, for instance, I had smoked haddock, which was really delicious. But Simon, I think this smoked haddock is I got it from a supermarket, and it was in a bag. It's in a bag, and it had sort of some nice sort of buttery bits in, but you actually bake it in the bag. So it's supposed to be fresh, but it's obviously then being defrosted and then you pop it in the bag. Is that good? I know what you're going to say, but it's absolutely.
Why did you ask?
It's so good.
I mean,
Well.
What really turns me off big time, and it gets me so annoyed, is seeing this bright yellow and actually going on green coloured smoked haddock that's just full of dye. I mean, why? There's no reason why it should be done that way. Smoked haddock should be a nice little pale straw colour, just from the natural colour coming from the smoke. It should be fresh. Boil in the bag would indicate being industrialized, and the brine's been injected in rather than being allowed to go in naturally. Keep the fishmongers going, and rather than buying your fish out of a supermarket, buy it from local fishmongers. And there's been quite a resurgence, and this is one of the benefits, if you could call it that, of COVID, but from lockdown, people tend to be buying local again. And avoiding a lot of the supermarkets, and the local fishmongers and the greengrocers and butchers and so on have actually done very well through the lockdown period. And my own local fish shop in Gilthead here, their trade has gone up, it's at 200 or 300% on what it was before lockdown. So people are, lockdown have actually sort of re-educated themselves in their eating habits, and rather than going to the supermarkets, they're buying local again. That way you get freshness, particularly with fish, because remember, fish is the most perishable commodity in the world, and it can go off by looking at it. Actually, I know people can make it go off while it's still alive. We all know people like that. But if you're buying smoked haddock or smoked whiting, it should be that nice pale straw color. And it shouldn't be this bright yellow or whatever, because that's a big no-no. I mean, all these dyes have got all sorts of chemicals associated with them, which are not really doing you very much good.
A good point there. A question I have for you, and really for everyone, is if you don't live anywhere near water, right? So Florida, we've got fresh fish here, right? And Simon, you've got it there. I don't think you guys have it. And Diann, I don't think you do. But if you want to eat fish and you don't live in an area where there are oceans and you have to have it has to be shipped in, it could be already a week old, right?
Not usually. Transportation now has really got to be quite slick, and in particular transportation of fish products, and it all goes in, chilled. Where Ian and Helena are, they could be in right in the furthest area from the sea possible in the UK. But hey, we're an island, so you're never really that far from the sea, and you'll still get fish shops right in the a long way from the sea. Or the other great thing is the local fish van that comes round in the UK, and they've usually got some really good deals on, and and some beautiful fresh fish. So temperature control is what it's all about. So it shouldn't be any more than about a couple of days old, and that's it. And if you're buying fresh fish, Just give it a little poke like that. If the flesh should spring back, the eyes should look alive. When you look at it, it should be almost to the point of going and winking at you. And the gills should be a nice bright red color. So, and they shouldn't smell of fish. Fish when it's really fresh smells of the sea. So that's your key points for checking how fresh your fish is.
So I'm just going to say that I can't eat a whole fish. In other words, if there's some eyes looking at me, it just and I think years ago someone served me sprats. So sprats are very, very tiny fish. And it looked like about 1 million eyes looking up at me. Quite honestly, I had to pass on the dish. I just couldn't eat. It was just one of those things. But
all those eyes, they'd see you through the week.
Do fish heads have certain use? I mean, can you eat the fish head and the eyes and everything?
Yes, you can. I mean, on salmon, the salmon heads, the very best part of salmon is the salmon cheeks. And some of the top restaurants and top hotels will pay serious money for salmon cheeks. Monkfish is another one, and monkfish is a strange-looking creature, and it's all head and all mouth, and I know people like that, and a small tail. But the monkfish cheeks, I mean, they're so sweet and they're so delicate, and they just melt in the mouth. Absolutely wonderful. But fish heads as well. I mean, you can make the most fabulous stock with the fish heads and the fish bones. But ask your fishmonger to fillet the fish for you, and it's being done fresh then, and that's fine. The sprats, well, that's a different matter. They're pretty small. The sprats are mostly fished on the west coast here at around this time of the year. What they're looking for is a good moon, a good tide, and a good chilled night, a bit of frost and so on, and it brings the sprats up near the surface at night, and the boats will pair trawl very close to the surface for them. And wonderful eating. They're just very, very nice. But you say, if you don't like your food looking at you, then that's fine. You could always get your mask and wear it up over your eyes.
Are sprats like sardines?
They are, yes. It's all the same family: sardines, herring, sprats. It's all the same as a family. So the sprat is a slightly firmer texture of fish to the sardine, and smaller scales. It's more closely related to a herring than a sardine.
I had an uncle who loved sardines, and they came in a can, and he would open the can, and they're all lying there looking at you like, why are you doing this to me? I don't know.
Would you put the lights out, please? Yeah.
Just say no.
In Portugal, sardines are huge in Portugal. I mean, I don't mean huge in size. Well, they are quite big there, actually. But everybody eats sardines. And it's just done very simply, grilled in the barbecue and served with boiled potatoes. That's it. And just about on the Algarve, every other restaurant is serving sardines. And there's one restaurant I know, and it has a trapdoor in the middle of the restaurant. And the local sardine boat comes up underneath the restaurant that's built out in stilts and lands there. And they just bring the boxes of sardines up, and they're straight on the grill.
That's cool.
As fresh as you could possibly get. It's a wonderful experience. And, fresh sardines is a totally different kettle of fish, to coin a phrase, than the ones that come out of the tin. I used to smoke them as well. The smoked sardines, I used to do them like kippers. Splitting it down the back, opening it out, quick brine, and then cold smoke. And it's such a lovely, delicate flavor, much more delicate than the herring, which is the traditional one for making kippers with. Absolutely wonderful. I used to just absolutely gorge myself on those. And I would have queues of customers outside the smokehouse in the morning. And as soon as they knew I'd got sardines coming in, and they'd, queuing up to buy these things, and away they go, very happy for for their breakfast.
I was just thinking that, quite honestly, everybody listening to this afternoon, I'm rushing to their kitchen hungry.
I just want to say something because where I live, there is sometimes, not on a regular basis, people actually knock on the front doors, and they are they say that, are they fishermen? I don't know, but they basically pick up the fish from the port and they'll drive into London quickly on ice, and then they literally come round, knock on the door, and they'll sell it. It always looks amazing, but I can't, when you don't know really where it's from, you don't know who these people are, I don't trust it. But I also feel a bit bad because obviously, it's probably really good. I mean, would you do the same, or is this just me that thinks like this?
So long as if you can tell by looking at it and touching it if it's fresh, that's fine. Go for it, definitely. And I mean, again, with with COVID and the problems of COVID and the market collapses, the fishermen started to get a little bit more imaginative and innovative as well. And so they started selling on the pier head or going around knocking on doors, as you say, to offer the fish. And some of them are actually still doing it now, even though the market's regained momentum, because they were finding that they were getting retail price, so they were getting much bigger profits for much less work. So these had certain benefits in the food industry as well. It's had big benefits and no waistline, I can tell you that.
A question I have as we close out the show, and Simon, I already know what you're going to say, so I'm going to go right over to Helena and Ian and then Diann. We were talking earlier about how, I don't know if it's people's tastes have changed, but the way that we eat has changed. And what I've seen from before the pandemic until now, at least with the people that, my family and friends that I've gotten together with, we used to have elaborate meals. I mean, all these different courses. And now people are looking at the way they're living their life and they're saying, no, I have to streamline. I have to eat less. I have to have less of the, the heavy sauces, like the Alfredo sauce, the Béarnaise. So I'm just wondering, I know you still have your picnic, Ian, and you're eating healthy, but have you changed it in terms of fewer courses and maybe, more protein and less sugar?
I mean, personally, I tend to have probably 2 meals a day. So I have a breakfast. So for breakfast, I'll have a slice of rye toast, banana, some rough oat cake, biscuits from Scotland, off the new. But what I do have is I have my passion for tea. I don't really drink alcohol at all, but I have a passion for tea, and so I have what's known as a pint mug. So it's a very large mug full of tea first thing in the morning, and so that's my breakfast. And at night, I will tend to eat quite light as well. I might catch something during the day, but not really. And I think you're right, because I think lockdown has changed a lot of people. Where I try to eat, apart from cakes, which is my sort of go-to naughty food. I tend to eat as healthily as I can, and I know Helena does exactly the same.
I'm actually quite fortunate in that I love healthy food. I love vegetables, I love fish. I don't like too creamy things, they make me ill. I don't like really fatty food. So in fact, I think I just am generally healthy in what I eat. But I have been thinking it through more. So that I think that's changed, through lockdown. Certainly thinking more about food, so I'm planning my food more, but I don't think I've ever had elaborate, really.
Thanks for sharing that. How about Diann?
Well, I'm totally different from y'all. I can't speak for everybody, but I will say the people I run around with, we rediscovered our kitchen, and because we had time to enjoy it. And so I'm suffering from making my great-grandmother's homemade biscuits and her pound cakes and things like that. Because to me, there's nothing better than biscuits coming, and I don't mean cookies like in England, but bread biscuits coming out of the oven and melting butter all over it and having a glass of milk, yummy. And then but also cooking I really enjoy. I'm not a great cook. I tend to make things that you call home cooking, so there's nothing better than having a beautiful roasted chicken and potatoes and gravy and all of that. So I'm sort of a meat potato girl. Have I changed? No, I just ate more. So I hope someone out there can relate to me. But
well, that's a question. Who put together pancakes and bacon? Because no. But what's the origin? Because to us in Britain, pancakes are really like a sweet, like a sweet meal. I've then actually poured maple syrup on your bacon and your pancakes. Who actually devised that? Was it from New York? Or because I've always wondered how that combination actually came together.
I have no idea, but it sounds really yummy to me. Having, your scrambled eggs or your fried eggs with your Belgian waffle or a regular pancake with lots of Vermont maple syrup and then your smoked bacon. Man, you are set for the day.
Can I just say, I think I should be like the size of a skeleton because I don't eat any of this stuff. I can't figure it out. I think it's because I'm going to be 59. I think that the body's just gone and said, hey. But anyway, Simon, every night there is an event, right? For you for dinner?
Well, I enjoy my food. Anybody that sees my profile realizes just how much I do enjoy my food. I'm just trying to think tonight. Yes, we've got fresh salmon with a cream fennel sauce and butter pureed potatoes. So and we've got asparagus tips as well. But you said it there: pancakes and bacon. It's lovely, and if you pan fry that pancake in butter, and then this is really just blows the calories. The pancake, and I'm talking the Scotch pancake, which is slightly thicker and a bit smaller than the traditional crepe, and those with bacon and fried egg. Oh God, it's beautiful! It really is. But it's equally lovely done like eggs Benedict with with poached egg and then
Nice.
the hollandaise sauce on top. But you've got to make your own hollandaise. I mean,
nice and fresh.
The way to do it.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I'm so sad. This is my breakfast / lunch, a zone bar. this is what I'm eating. And you're talking about eggs Benedict. You're killing me here.
I remember that you should have hung your head in shame one night on the United Kitchens. And there was Ricky and I slaving over our hot stoves and coming up with all sorts of exotic dishes. And then live on air, you admitted, I've got a TV dinner.
I only have minutes to eat in between, So yes, I like my lean cuisine meals, but you didn't hear me say that.
It's not often I'm lost for words, but the ones I could think of at the time really couldn't be put on air.
I know. I'm sorry.
I just want to say, I never had beef Wellington until I was in England, and that is just yummy the way y'all make that. And Yorkshire pudding I fell in love with when I was there. Just a FYI.
A little variation on the Yorkshire pudding. Rather than having it with roast beef, try doing a cream sauce with prawns and mussels and scallops and oysters in the cream sauce, and fill that in that nice hollow in the Yorkshire pudding. Oh wow, that's something else.
Very clever.
Nice. And there's some very exotic Scottish dishes as well, because my mother was born and raised in Aberdeen, So we used to go to Aberdeen a lot, which is on the east coast of Scotland. And one of the dishes that they have, and you probably know about this, Simon, it's called mealy jimmies.
Yes, yes. My favourite from the east coast, well, it's northeast coast, is the Cullen skink.
And with all these dishes, I mean, mealy jimmy, it's, I don't know how you would describe it. It's almost like the name of the other thing that they have on Burns Night.
Like haggis.
Haggis.
Yeah.
So it's a sort of a similar consistency to that. But the other thing that, sorry, I go back a long time, and one of my favourites, and I don't know whether Simmers, the bakers in Scotland, still exist, because I used to live on Simmers butter biscuits. Now, guys in America, if you ever get a chance to go to Scotland and Simmers is still around, try Simmers butter biscuits. For me, they were the best biscuits ever in this world.
Haven't seen them for a long time, but I know where you're coming from. They were something else.
Well, Dr. Jacalyn, I think she's got so many shows to be getting on with.
I know. I was just like, oh my gosh, look what the time is. I know you guys have someplace to go. And we actually, Diann, I have another show that already started.
But I do want, yes, but Ian, you said something I love, which is tea. I absolutely love tea. I love to visit tea farms, see how it comes together. It's so amazing. So you must come back and talk about your various teas. And to me, having a tea with y'all call cookies biscuits is quite yummy.
There is this cookie. There is a tea, the certain tea, which makes something like 1 cup is £500.
Oh my gosh!
It's the most expensive tea in the world,
Yeah.
and it is expensive. But I'm terrible at that, just to sort of because we have a I don't know what you would call it. It's a syrup, but it's made by a company called Tate and Lyle, and it's golden syrup. And I have a very, very, very sweet tooth. And I thought recently I wanted to try a different taste for my tea. So I've now put a spoonful of Tate and Lyle golden syrup in my tea. And I swear to God, I'm hooked on it now.
That's no good.
Yeah.
Is your tea caffeinated or decaffeinated?
Oh, it's caffeinated. So this sounds like food confession time, doesn't it?
Where were you the night of June 10th? No.
So Simon, we can have a lovely salmon dinner and top it off with a lovely dessert with a fine tea, correct?
That's it. Yes, I've made ice cream on United Kitchens as well, and it's the simplest thing in the world to make. And it's so good. Yeah, but on the tea side, I used to smoke tea, and because everybody's remembers, you ask people can you remember the best cup of tea you've ever had? And a lot of people would say, yeah, when we're outside, out in the open, over a campfire, and it was the introduction of the smoke and the taste of the tea that just gave that. So I thought, right, there's got to be a way to do this, and so I came up with a smoked tea. I worked with a tea blender in Edinburgh who devised the tea that would work best with the oak smoke. But we added a little bit of heather into the smoke, which just gave it that slight tartness on the edge of it as well. And it was absolutely delicious. Wow. It was really nice.
I've never heard of that. It sounds
It's
amazing.
Incredible. Definitely have to have a show about tea.
Yeah.
Everybody can show their tea.
In Boston in a few weeks' time, so we can have the Boston Tea Party all over again. Yeah.
Oh, listen, if I would have been born back then, I'm afraid I would be like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Put that tea back. They would have kicked me to Canada.
Oh my gosh. Well, we have to kick ourselves off because I know we could stay forever, but we have to go. So this has been so much fun. And for people who are watching, you can go over to our website, usaglobaltv.com, and you can look at Meet the Team, and Simon and Helen and Ian are there, and you can learn more about them on the website. But anything you guys would like to share as I spotlight you, I'll start with Simon. Anything you'd like to share with our audience about how to connect with you, or who should connect with you?
Right, you usually have that little banner that goes.
I know, I don't have it.
Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Right, okay. You can get hold of me on Facebook, Simon Macdonald, and the Twitter was at Smoke Simon, or we've got on LinkedIn again, Simon Macdonald, or email is macdonaldsimon@ymail.com. And that's MacDonaldsimon and it's the letter ymail.com. And there we are.
There you are. All right.
I'll accept all checks and all major credit cards. I'll accept anything but blows.
Well, we've got your banner. There you go.
Ah, you've got it there. There we are. Yes.
All right. All right. Thank you so much, Simon. It was great seeing you. And we'll go over to Ian and Helena.
So really, I mean, the quickest way is via just social media. My name, Helena Chard, Chard. And that's on Instagram and LinkedIn as well. Although somehow my LinkedIn seems to be Helena.Chard somehow. I need to change that. And also email address hcpresenter@gmail.com. That's probably the quickest way. And yeah, I look forward to hearing from anyone. I love it.
Who would you like to reach out to?
Everyone and anyone. I chat to lots of people, but if anyone wants to chat about broadcasting, or anybody would like to feature on our shows, we're here to advise and if anyone needs any help about anything that I'm passionate about.
We've got some focuses now on our new show. So basically, we'll be working with a lot of charities. We're working a lot with female issues, and in fact today I was talking to the lady who looks after Miss England, which is one of our. It's very close to Miss Universe in pageant popularity as well. So we're really looking at trying to do a lot of female-related issues. We're looking at communities and how we can actually promote communities as well. And we will come back to you shortly, because we've got some ideas about how to create further connections between all of us that I think will bring value to everyone.
Outstanding. And Ian, should people contact Helena for any of these things?
Absolutely.
After I do the screening.
Do you know, I mean, Jacalyn, do you know, I get about 50 emails an hour.
Wow. Oh my gosh.
I looked at my email list the other day. I don't read them. See, that's the trouble. I just skim, you know. And I think I've got something like about 3,000 emails unread.
Oh my gosh.
On the thing, so it is, and Helena is the best organizer in the world. The only thing I've done this year, I've got myself a diary again, so I know what I'm doing week on week. But apart from that, you know, Helena has got the most. She's always together. She's got all the connections together.
But do feel free to contact me on his social media as well.
Well, thank you so much. It was great seeing the three of you here today, and we look forward to seeing you again next week.
Brilliant. We look forward to it.
Have a great week. I'm going to pretend the Stetson soon.
What is it?
The Stetson suit, you know, the Stetson hat because.
Oh, I thought you said Helen is expecting soon. I was like, wow. I was like, what? Hello? I didn't hear that news before.
The Houston radio is coming up in March, and I'll make sure to wear my hat for you.
Excellent. Okay.
Thanks again, guys.
Bye.
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 Oh my gosh, I feel like we were just sitting around in the house or something. Everybody just
It
having a
was
chat.
lovely.
So
I know.
nice.
It was so nice. I learned so much. And how special to have a day of listening, to just really listen to people. I love that.
I know. I love that too.
We need to do
And
that here.
we do. Well, that's why we have the power of listening.
This is true. But we need to make it United States. Everyone stop and listen.
Yes, that's what we need. Okay, here's your banner. I'm going to spotlight you. Who would you like to reach out to you?
Everybody, no, listen, if you're looking for ways to find out how you can write your own book, please feel free to contact me, because I love to help people get their stories out. And also, if you're interested in finding really good books to read, come to diannfloydboehm.com, and I think I'll probably have a book that will make you very happy. Thank you, Dr. Jacalyn.
Thanks, Diann. And as we end this show, our next show has already started, but we're not there. But do tell our audience about the next guest. She's joining us from Dubai.
Yes, she is, Nasheen. She's incredible. We're going to really just concentrate on her because she wears lots of hats. She's also a phenomenal librarian, but her couture lines of clothing, her shoes we're going to concentrate on today. And I learned that she started making couture brooches as well. Brooches are really coming back big time. So I'm excited. So if anyone wants to stay tuned and find out how you can have couture shoes, I mean, she literally hand sews and designs. It's phenomenal. They're beautiful.
Absolutely beautiful. And it's after midnight there, so we got to
Yeah.
get to her so the poor woman can get some sleep.
Yeah, 'cause she-
All right. Thanks again. Thanks, Diann. Thank you, Helen and Ian. Thank you, Simon. We'll see you again soon, as in literally seconds. Okay. Bye.
Bye.